Hi, this is Reverend Dr. Michael Vanderpool, author of A Storm Warning for Israel, Spring Summer 2007, which I accurately, down to the day accurate actually, in terms of the signatories that I wrote about to watch for August 1st, 2007, basically predicted around the beginning and the close or finish of the summer war that happened there with Israel. So I'm an astrologer, and I've been researching and practicing astrology since late 1999 and into 2000, the year 2000 pretty heavily. In 2006 I was involved with Magi astrology, which I'm very excited about, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today and show some of the charts. And also, I'm not just an astrologer, because any astrologer can look at a chart and a set of planetary aspects and symbolisms, but not every astrologer is an intuitive astrologer. So I'm what you call an intuitive astrologer. I've successfully and very accurately predicted the time of deaths before they've happened, down to the week or within a few days of those deaths. A couple of accidents that have taken place, a friend and paying client jail more than 4 or 5 months before it happened, and he went, and I tried to tell him this to help him to try to prevent that, to try to make that that warning or that prophecy, so to speak, that prediction not come to pass, to do everything to try to correct his course, so to speak. And so today, when I'm going to talk about the royal wedding, I was inspired to do so for several reasons. One, because it's actually how I was inspired to write A Storm Warning for Israel, Spring Summer 2007, which was extremely accurate. It was all over the media. It was all over the news. So in hearing it so much, and there was even a Russian general that had predicted that the United States would go to war with Iran around March 29th, and as I just said, I published this work to the internet. It was posted on eBay for sale as an ebook report with the full prediction summed up in 2 paragraphs right there in the eBay ad in my website, omsh.net, for the entire period from March 17th, actually published it on an eclipse, all the way into autumn of 2007. So it's kind of the same inspiration today. I was on my Facebook page, and I had posted some video from YouTube and embedded there with Alex Jones speaking about, everyone should go to Google and put in, secrets of the royal wedding exposed. And then there was the FKN news piece that Deke Jackson out of what I think is probably Australia had put a pretty interesting video together, and it was about kind of a mockery, kind of a entertaining piece about U.S. involvement in all these wars. It's actually titled "No End in Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, etc." And I don't agree with everything that Alex Jones says. I don't agree with everything that Deke Jackson would portray, and a lot of his work looks to be certainly entertainment, but it was of great value, this video that he put up, "No End in Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, etc." That video clip, that FKN News clip, so to speak, he at the end had a very important recording of one of our former U.S. presidents. And this is very relevant to what I'm going to talk about today, because that would be Kennedy. And in Magi astrology, we understand that the importance of natalizations, weddings, or the taking of presidential inaugurations, offices on days that are favorable, with favorable influences, but it's problematic if it's Sun trine Pluto, and Sun trine Pluto is power, especially political power, and that's what Kennedys often had either in their natalization into presidential inauguration and or in a wedding or two. And those are great for power, but they always end tragically. So with that in mind, and what I see in the Prince William royal wedding chart, I'm going to go in here in a moment and talk about that. I'll try to keep this video short and get right to the point. You can follow up with your own research or interest or curiosity with Magi Astrology or more studying and learning by the Magi Society websites, or such books as the Magi Astrology Key to Success. It's Magi Astrology: The Key to Success in Love and Money, or Astrology Really Works. And again, just visit their websites. So it's really a fascinating thing, because almost every U.S. president from the late 1700s till 1933 took presidential office of inauguration on March 4th of every year, because it was a Sun trine Jupiter day. This is symbolic of an extra added element of peace, protection, prosperity, and those are the things that we want in such endeavors, and especially for our leaders. And it's always been known that royalty has used such natalizations. In fact, I had told a friend about a possible wedding date for someone in her family to consider, and the date in question was September 16th of 2010, and that's exactly the day that the Pope, whose Vatican has 90% of the world's Kabbalistic, astrological, and magical and other occult texts throughout the many hundreds of years in the Vatican library, safely hidden away. And they certainly know about this knowledge, and also obviously use it, because that date I had told her about, September 16th, was so strong and favorable in some ways that the Pope actually entered into Scotland for the first time in 30 years that any pontificate had entered there, and met with the Queen of England, and also then immediately not only natalizing that first meeting and that he had with Scotland, so to speak, and the government officials and royalty there, but also swiftly went on into London on a very powerful day, a Sun-Jupiter day, but also a Jupiter-Uranus day, which helps with luck in fame, worldwide fame, and it's very interesting what you can see in the stars. So what my concern is about the wedding chart is that we look at April 29th, 2011, and what we see there is that it is a Sun-Jupiter day, number one. I'm sorry, Sun-Pluto day, and trine. So this is a very powerful aspect of Pluto trining the Sun, and it's separating, at least the chart that I'm looking at, for the London location, actually at 10 a.m. on April 29th, 2011. So we'll take a quick look at the chart here, and you can see this is actually the Sun, and this is the opposition to, I'm sorry, this is the Sun trine Pluto, and it's separating. I'll kind of come in closer. You can see this line represents separating, a planet separating from the Sun, and this is planetary symbolism for Pluto. I know it's not all that clear. I have the screen covered to protect it from dust and things like that. Now here we have also a Vesta Sun aspect, and this in this specific case is a Sun square Vesta. That's not always good for dealing with spiritual groups, churches, nonprofits, and so on, foundations and charities, but also it's not good for friendships. But in any case, can bring some clashes or stress in those areas. In the geodeclinations chart, we see that this day that they've chosen for a wedding date is a Sun contra parallel Ceres and Sun parallel Pallas day, and those are very favorable aspects. But the problem that I see here as an astrologer, and not only one who uses, practices, and very much has had great success in the predictive and electional aspects of Magi astrology, but in looking at Prince William's fixed stars chart, based on some of the great research by Bernadette Brady, and herself being at this time in the UK, is that Prince William is a Vendor Matrix, a Parans Saturn man. This can be, someone that needs to certainly be more mindful of the things I'm speaking about today. Because what I don't like about this wedding date is it's great for power. It's kind of a weak but still strong aspect of political and other types of power, enhanced by this Pluto trine Sun. But I don't like it because it always ends tragically. I mean, these energies are not good. The Kennedys' stories and their natalizations and using such are nothing pleasant. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I don't like this Saturn retrograde, Saturn in retrograde opposition Venus, in terms of love and things to do with love. It's not what we want to see. However, I can see why some royal astrologers or otherwise might have chosen it, because of the conjunction in the heliocentric sky of Chiron, Neptune, and Venus, and even Ceres, which is extremely powerful and magical in its own right. However, the second problem, besides the Vendomatrix that Prince William has in his fixed stars chart, Parans Saturn, as you can see that there are stars of his prime culminating. And I know the real meaning of what that is. I won't go into that now. But this is the second reason for making this quick video, in addition to many others, to teach, share, and but it's even more important, in my opinion, to have chosen a more powerful and protective wedding date, wedding chart, for that Vendomatrix Parans Saturn that we see in Prince William's fixed stars chart. But also, a third reason, and even more, just if you're an astrologer down to the, this is just basic astrology 101. I mean, it is advanced, don't get me wrong, but the Bible says a day for a year for a day. The Lord said there will be a day for a year for a day. Something like that. It's in the Old Testament. And that's how we do progressions. Well, when they set up this wedding chart, they actually set up a progression for going into the next year or two at least of the wedding. And Saturn in retrograde will then quincunx the Sun. This is something that can then blow up from internal crises or internal causes, or simply become or have some element of tragedy involved. And so this is another reason why I just don't like this wedding chart, although there is a magical element to it. Although Prince William himself was born with some very powerful, in fact, he was born a Jupiter trine Sun man, just like Mikhail Gorbachev was born with. He was born